To keep you is no benefit, but to destroy you is no loss. Those are the chilling words of the Khmer Rouge, a group responsible for one of the most devastating genocides in human history, deep in the jungles of Cambodia. To understand how we got here, let's rewind. Cambodia is a small country in Southeast Asia. Humans have lived in Cambodia for over thousands of years and have developed one of the region's oldest cultures. Modern-day Cambodia was dominated by the Khmer Empire, which controlled much of modern-day Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and was even strong enough to repel Mongol invasions. During the empire's rule, Buddhism became entrenched in Cambodian culture. The Khmer Empire gained a reputation as a hub of engineering and architectural design. Khmer engineers built the magnificent temple at Angkor Wat, which served as the empire's capital. Archaeologists believe that Angkor was the world's largest city before the Industrial Revolution, home to over 1 million people. But in 1432, the Khmer Empire fell, bringing centuries of instability to the region. This all changed in 1863 when France annexed Cambodia into its French Indochina colony. The French ruled until 1953, when King Sihanouk negotiated the country's independence, but war was raging around the new country's borders. In neighboring Vietnam, the Communist North, allied with the USSR, was at war with the South, allied with the Americans. King Sihanouk outwardly maintained neutrality, but allowed both communist guerrillas and US soldiers to operate inside of Cambodia. Generals in the king's army were unhappy with his support for the communist rebels and overthrew him in 1970. The new regime allowed the US to bomb parts of Cambodia to combat the Viet Cong. These bombing raids are estimated to have killed over 50,000 Cambodians living in the countryside. As a result, many Cambodians began to join the communist rebel group known as the Khmer Rouge. The Khmer Rouge was funded by China and North Vietnam, and by 1975 they had taken over the country with the support of the Vietnamese army. The Khmer Rouge was led by Pol Pot and had the goal of creating an agricultural society based off the teachings of Mao Zedong. The Khmer Rouge's first action after capturing the capital city of Phnom Penh was to completely evacuate the city. Urban dwellers were forced to leave their homes in the city for a life in the countryside. Those who refused were executed. The Khmer Rouge banned schools, religions, and private property. Most Cambodians were forced to work in the rice fields to meet high rice quotas. Millions of workers died after they were pushed to the brink of exhaustion and starvation. Intellectuals were also summarily executed in Cambodia. Even having glasses could get you killed. The regime also committed genocide against ethnic minorities like Muslims, Thais, Viets, and Laotians. The Khmer Rouge implemented horrifying methods of torture against their political opponents. Most notoriously, Prison S21, a former high school, was used to torture political prisoners. Today is a memorial to the victims of the Cambodian Genocide. In all, 3 million Cambodians were killed under the rule of the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot. The average life expectancy in Cambodia fell from 40 years to 19, and around a third of all men in the country died. In 1979, after 4 years of killings, Vietnam invaded Cambodia to put an end to the genocide. Even with all this, countries like China continued to support the Khmer Rouge, and the US even gave it some funding in its war against Vietnam. After the liberation of Cambodia, Vietnamese soldiers were horrified by what they'd seen. These soldiers uncovered thousands of mass graves hiding millions of bodies. These graves became known as the killing fields, with mountains of skulls showing the true scale of the tragedy. Even with all of this, little has been done to bring justice to the people of Cambodia. Only 3 members of the Khmer Rouge have ever received punishments from the International Criminal Court for their role in the genocide. Pol Pot would go into hiding after his regime was overthrown. Unlike the people he murdered, he died a free man in 1998. But there isn't much that can be done now. Almost every Cambodian was directly impacted by the genocide, and today the country is still rebuilding from the tragedies of the 1970s. The best way to support Cambodia is by understanding its history or even taking a visit. The Temple of Angkor Wat is an amazing experience, or you can visit the capital of Phnom Penh. Thank you for watching through this journey of Cambodia. If you'd like to see more content about our world, make sure to subscribe for our next trip to the African nation of Cameroon.